Hi, my name is Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video from my unmade bed. And it's my very first no makeup challenge video of the year. Wow! Anyway, today I wanted to talk about masturbation, sex toys and fantasies because I was very inspired after reading some of the comments on my video called Masturbation Hacks from a Professional Sex Toy Tester that I published a few days ago. And in that video I talked about my own personal techniques to reach orgasm, because as a professional sex toy tester I obviously have to be able to reach orgasm quite frequently and sometimes when I'm not quite in the mood. So obviously these techniques are very tried and tested, and also my techniques have evolved over the years. So I talked about how I rely on fantasy especially. I don't watch porn, it's all in my mind when I masturbate, and also I try and use it as an opportunity to meditate. So more about that I'll leave a link to that video, my masturbation hacks. But anyway, some of these comments were very inspiring, so let's start with the most recent one. I need to be directed to good erotic literature so I can develop my own fantasies, but I have a vision issue which only lets me read in small amounts at a time. Venus, it seems once you develop your fantasies to where they trigger orgasm that you're in good shape. Any suggestions about how to get there? Well, I'm not sure how I got there actually. I think for me it's been very organic, and I think I'm able to see or find erotic potential in anything. I remember a few years ago I used to go to a particular organic fruit shop, and I never tie a knot in the bags of fruit. I'm talking plastic bags, and because I used to break nails on doing them, and I like to use those bags again for anyway. I just used to like to repurpose them. And anyway, so whenever I went to the till, this guy would just put knots in all the bags, and I was thinking, oh my god. And that's a very simple trigger inspired me to write an article with a fantasy about this guy, and I related the knotting to guys who tie a knot in a condom, because not all guys do it. So you just never know where things can take you if you've got an open mind. And I personally prefer a good Hollywood film with good acting, that, you know, with these, or even a series, you know, the type of series that's got a couple of characters who are mad for each other but they just don't admit it, and there's all that tension and intense gazes. I mean, that type of thing for me gets me off way more than just watching porn. For example, I never ever watch porn. So and if you have a vision issue, there are so many other resources. There are audiobooks, and there are lots of storytelling or even ASMR resources online. And so I think it's a good idea to maybe just lie back and maybe listen to a story instead of having to rely on your vision. And also, if you're not reading, you can kind of maybe let your mind wander a bit more and close your eyes and just maybe touch yourself or caress yourself at the same time, or use a toy, for example. I know there is a sex toy called Vibes that I reviewed a couple of years ago, and it's a very nice clitoral stimulator, and they also have audiobooks. And I think there's a particular setting that whenever there's a sexual word or sensual word in the text, then it starts to vibrate a little bit stronger, and they're always updating their erotic audiobooks. So that's a good tip for you. Okay, next. The next question. Well, it's not a question really, I'm just inspired by these comments. I love this video and your points. I'd like to challenge you though, where you use the term frivolous orgasms. Described how you're more interested in enlightenment. There's no moment during which you cannot achieve enlightenment. Would you not agree? Yeah, totally agree with that. Isn't it then a frivolous orgasm just an orgasm that you've somehow simply discounted or dismissed? Thank you. Okay. Because I was talking about a practice called sexual transmutation. So I like to channel my sexual energy towards non-sexual goals when I'm masturbating. So it ends up being a visualization exercise, because I have a very well-developed erotic mind anyway, so I'm trying to use these skills for more practical purposes. But I definitely think all frivolous orgasm, I was referring to an orgasm where it's just about sexual release, and of course there's nothing wrong with that, but in my orgasmic journey years ago, my orgasms were just about, let's say, a race to come as fast as I could, and that was and just feel some relief, and there was nothing deep there, and I think knowing how powerful it is, I want to use it for something more powerful. But that doesn't mean to say that a frivolous orgasm is not enlightening or can't be enlightening. In fact, sometimes when I'm really focused on the pleasure or just really enjoying something, I'm feeling in the moment and I'm not quite in the visualization mode, I like to dedicate my frivolous orgasm. I just want to sometimes really concentrate on the pleasure and think. I even try and bring meaning or give meaning to it. I just say, or not say, I just imagine that this is what this intense pleasure is the reason why I do this job, and the reason why I have a mission to raise orgasmic awareness, because I want all women, or more women around the world, to be able to connect like this and feel this incredible pleasure that masturbation and stimulation and enjoying your body and orgasm can provide. So yeah, even a frivolous orgasm I try and give meaning to, but that's just my personal preference. I think enlightenment can be achieved many ways. Anyway, so next, I'm glad to see a video like this. I'm not the only person who loves to masturbate, yeah. And has doing it multiple times a day, I was starting to feel ashamed that maybe there was something wrong with me. Your positive outlook on masturbating has made me see it positively as well. Well, I think it's all about your intention, personally. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's good for someone can be bad for someone else. So, you know, as long as it's not distracting you from other things, and I don't think there's any point in feeling guilty about it. I mean, if you're not doing any harm to anyone, then you shouldn't feel guilty about it. I think there's too much guilt. I think well, I was brought up Catholic, so I was brought up to believe that that touching your body was bad. But now I just think God gave me a clitoris and I'm gonna enjoy it. Thank you, God. Okay. Next, I talked about Womanizer in this as well, because in the previous video, because as I use my fantasy, or rely on my fantasy, my erotic mind, to reach orgasm a lot of the time. Someone asked me if I just purely relied on my fantasy, or do I think about the sensation, or focus on the sensations as well. And I have found that with most sex toys, it's actually my mind that's accelerating the process or bringing me to orgasm, as opposed to the toy. The toy obviously helps me along the way. But for example, with Womanizer, which is very intense clitoral stimulation that uses pleasure air technology that stimulates the clitoris without actually touching it, I found that it was like being mugged for an orgasm. I wasn't mentally invested in the process. It was just like, oh my God, my legs just started bouncing up and down, and I was blown away by it all. And something similar has happened to me with wand massages. I think the wide surface area that's vibrating on the vulva really wakes that area up, and it's like, you will have an orgasm. So that's my personal experience anyway. But I do use fantasy when I've been using those toys, but the sensation was maybe a little bit more significant than in other toys. So anyway, this guy talks about Womanizer, and it takes his wife. It's not really working for her, and in order to provoke an orgasm, give her an orgasm, he has to go down on her, and it takes forever. sometimes she's enjoying it, making the right sounds and blah blah blah, but maybe not an orgasm. He thought the womanizer would help her reach orgasm faster, but he's disappointed. So what advice would I give him? Well, I think it all depends on your wife and her intention and what's really blocking her. I don't think orgasm should ever be the objective of an encounter with oneself or with a partner. It should always be pleasure, and you should take away that pressure to have an orgasm. So I think it's way more likely that you'll have an orgasm if you take away the pressure. And I think it's just good to just think about the sensations, the physical sensations, and also the emotional sensations, and just focus on how good it feels. Because if you're thinking, I need to come, then that can it might not happen, or yeah, it can be very disappointing. So that's would be my advice. And I think it would be a good idea, as someone else suggests here in the replies to that comment, is ask her to try by herself in private and then comment back. And I think that's a really good thing to do. I think it's really important to explore your own body on your own, and then I think you can bring more to the table, or the bed, let's say, when you're with a partner. Anyway, I hope this helps, and that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions about sex toys or orgasms, write to me here and I might make another video. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and see you next time.